I feel the gravity pull and it keeps me away.
Hey guys, Ash here, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. I am not alone. I am joined by Nub Raids, Nub Kex, Nub. What's up, bro? How you doing? Welcome.
I'm good. Yeah, been struggling with sleep lately, you know, grinding hard in that free-to-play challenge.
Free to play, man. Yeah. I hear so many comments. Did I make a mistake? Do you think not join? I mean, basically, just full transparency. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, but I have such limited free time that I already struggle on my main account. How much time is it taking for you? Am I wrong in that assessment? Is it taking a lot of time? Or?
Nothing special in it.
No, I mean, like, it's grinding the whole day, basically. I think about it compared to my main account, you know, I worked it out. I think it takes 1/5 of the time.
That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter.
There can't be two Spider-Men.
To spend the energy in my main, it's 5 times faster. And that's not including things like arena, faction wars, and all of that are so much slower. Plus, obviously, building and gearing. So yeah, it's if you're worried about time, it's a bad idea for time, but it's super fun. I mean, it's definitely something you should do 1 year for sure, just for the experience.
Yeah, 1 year, maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
It never seems like when it comes around, I'm always like, I'm so busy. And it's like one of those things that, you know, is cliche, but you tell yourself in life, like, you gotta have the power to say no, Ash. You gotta learn to say no. I've been trying to exercise that, but I never feel good when I do. Either way, man, we just did a collab on Nub's channel. I shared some of my very favorite builds, and you shared a couple as well. Kind of unique builds out there, like builds that you guys should be considering. So check out that video. But today, because when I think Nub Raids, I think two things. I think news, because you're like Johnny on the spot with all the news content, all the shard events, like you're the first guy that I go to. And then I also think clan bosses, right? Like I thought Deadwood back in the old school, right? Deadwood Jedi and on the Demon Lord. But then I started really watching you with all your Hydra content. You were the first creator that really got in there to me and got super granular on the strategy. And then Chimera, you've obviously followed through with Chimera as well. So I figured we'd bring you on. We talk about your best epics for every clan boss to my viewers. I've gotten those requests a few times now recently, like what are your best like free to play or non-mythical options for every clan boss. So you've created your list. I'll give some honorable mentions if you snub any of my faves along the way. I gave you one rule, Nubs, and it was a hard one, right?
It was, yeah. You basically
like,
said
only one duplicate, right? Is that kind of
duplicates?
Yeah.
I went for none. I made it hardcore.
Okay, perfect.
I've got 5 unique champs for each clan boss, so
5 unique epics for every clan boss. But I'm sure once we talk about them, if they're a beast in another clan boss, Nubs will let us know as well. Let us know. So you want to start old school? You want to start new school, man?
Let's go oldest to newest.
Yes.
Let's do it. Okay.
Did you find it interesting? Nubs was on our behind closed doors meeting that we always talk about. So I don't know why it's called behind closed doors, but
I mean, not in public.
Oh. Wow.
You were there, and did you find it interesting when they said, or did you already know this, when they said that they looked at clan boss difficulties as going Demon Lord, Chimera, and then Hydra? You know, so like they released them in a different, like they look at Hydra as being the most end game, Chimera as like entry level end game, and then Demon Lord as like the progression clan boss. Did you find that interesting? Or I guess it does make sense, kind of.
Yeah, I wasn't actually there. I missed that.
Shoot. So, well, keep it in. You were there in spirit, damn it. Why didn't you go? Did it?
I was there in spirit. I was on jury duty, so I was like, hopefully I won't get
okay. As long as you're invited, then I would feel really awkward if you're like, yeah, I wasn't invited, bro.
Wasn't invited. They don't want me. No, I was invited, but I couldn't go.
Okay. Well, there you go. They said that. What do you think?
I mean, definitely on the free to play, it makes sense. Like Hydra unlocks weirdly early, and you go in and you get destroyed. So I was able to get like the first chest on like the second week or something, but like week 1, not a chance. Whereas with Demon Lord, I'm on to Nightmare now. On like Chimera on the free to play, I'm on to normal. I think I can 1-key normal as well. But like you can actually get in and do it. And Hydra is way harder, way harder. So that totally makes sense. I don't know, like late game, end game, I guess because it's new, I sort of see Chimera as more of a challenge because we've already had years to build Hydra teams.
Same.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it probably does make more sense to go Demon Lord Chimera, Hydra. Like if you're new, that's probably the order for sure. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, sounds good. Let's do this. Sorry for the long preamble. Welcome to Ash, Raid Shadow Legends. Who you have here, man, on the for your top 5 for Demon Lord?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna blow your minds. You've probably never thought of these champs for Demon Lord before. First up, we've got Man-Eater.
Who's that?
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't know if that was sarcasm or not. So
Yeah, interesting enough, with a lot of these champions, like Geomancer, spoiler, it's like, ooh, which one of the bosses do I put him in? Because he's amazing for all of them. Man-Eater is definitely a Demon Lord specialist, right? Unkillable. Deadwood Jedi built all those amazing tunes. I guess maybe other people, several other people actually involved. Like, was it Rust or something? I can't even remember. From way back in the day.
Yeah, shout out to all the people behind the scenes who helped us all out.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I started playing the game, I built a budget Man-Eater team, and I had no clue what I was doing. I just did what I was told, and it would work.
Bro, I just had this video paused. I'm like, okay, I got this stat right.
Yeah.
Fast forward 1 second.
Very thankful.
This stat is right.
Yeah, Man-Eater's crazy. I was actually chatting with Hades about him on a video we did for one of our channels the other day, and Hades was talking about how good he is in other areas of the game as well.
Yeah.
But there's no question, for Demon Lord, he opens up unkillable teams with the block debuffs to make it affinity friendly and stun friendly. Man-Eater's just incredible.
Agreed. Number 2.
Okay. Number 2, if you don't have a Man-Eater, maybe you've got a Demitha.
Demitha! Okay, I was wondering, but I didn't want to ruin the list.
Oh, thank you. Very much appreciated.
There you go.
Yeah, so Demitha, again, this is the block damage to Man-Eater's unkillable. Block damage, extends buffs, again, opens up all those sort of block damage teams. Pretty simple, straightforward. It's just, get turn 50, smash it, easy.
We've got the unkillable, the block damage covered now.
We do. Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3, I'm going to go with Deacon Armstrong.
Okay, I like that.
Turn meter boosting, decreased defense, and the turn meter manipulation is so strong. This is going to be something shared with number 4 in the list as well. It opens up very easily a very, very clean 2-to-1 or whatever, 4-to-3, all the different fractions and variables for those Demon Lord teams. It opens up specific speed tunes that are almost impossible to do otherwise. To get way more damage into your limited number of turns. So,
I think I can guess number 4 then. Should I be so bold?
Yes, do it.
Seeker!
Yeah, correct.
There he goes. The bat!
Yes. So Seeker, he's, again, just a massive turn meter boost on such a short cooldown. It's brilliant. And increased attack is also really good for some of those unkillable teams where you can run really squishy damage dealers like, I don't know, Fane, and just full damage and gonna start smacking really hard.
Yeah, I think is Seeker still the best turn meter booster in the game? I think he is, because there's no other champion that could do a 30% boost on ostensibly on a 2-turn because of the extra turn. You know,
that is true. Yeah. Well, I think one funky pick I love is Carolon the Ringer, who can give a 40% turn meter boost. I think that's the biggest.
Yes,
but it's very conditional. But
he's insane. That I've seen some crazy teams built around that. Yeah. Okay, number 5. Who you got number 5 here?
And then number 5, Skull Crusher, I'm going to put in. I was this is the bold choice, I think. The other ones, I'm sure you saw coming.
Indeed, but I like this. This is an old school.
Yeah, very much old school. Again, just full team counterattack, except for himself, I think. Yep. But he opens up just, again, getting a lot of extra damage into the clan boss. You can sort of start healing up from War Master and Leech, Lifesteal perhaps. And I think he can do some funky affinity-friendly tunes as well with his passive. He can do some cool stuff. I'd say stay tuned for Saf on this free-to-play challenge. I think he pulls Skull Crusher week 1. Ooh. So he will definitely be building some Skull Crusher teams.
Awesome.
And there's other good epics that are kind of spread into the other clan bosses instead. Whereas I think Skull Crusher is very much, he's for Demon Lord. You could maybe make him work a bit in Chimera. Very difficult to make him work in Hydra. It's risky in Chimera as well, because it can also steal your buffs. Yeah. But he's very much a Demon Lord MVP. So
I love the 5, because to your point, they all fit Demon Lord beautifully, right? And they all serve a utility that wouldn't apply necessarily to all of the other clan bosses. I'll give one honorable here, just because when I think when I think Demon Lord, or at least the good old days, non-unkillables, I think of poisons, and I like good old Taragi the Frog. Good old Taragi.
Oh, yes. Great pick.
There's a few, right? But I don't want to name ones that you could have on other lists, right? So I think I'm safe on Taragi, but I love those poisons off the passive and just a good support, overall to have on your team too. He also brings the decreased attack on the A1. There's probably a lot like of honorables if you could probably be here all day,
Yeah, no, 100%. He's a great pick. I will say from other, like obviously Deacon is just generally good everywhere. I was also very, very torn with putting Seeker. I thought Seeker is such a definitive Demon Lord champ. I put him on that. I was very tempted to put him on the Hydra list because when you're looking for, a reliable provoker, it's very hard to get that. Seeker's insanely reliable with the turn meter boosting as well. So he's actually one of the best possible epic options for that in Hydra. But I said, no, he goes on the Demon Lord list.
Seeker is the man. All right, speaking of Hydra, let's go chronologically here. So let's go to Hydra next. Let's see. I wonder if I could guess all of your 5. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to ruin the video, but I'm sure I can guess a few.
Try, yeah.
No, I'm not going to guess them right now.
You'll get at least, I say you get.
I'll start with one. I think the most no-brainer is going to be Inquisitor Shamil.
Yes.
But yeah, okay, there we go.
There you go. I think you'll guess number 2 as well.
Why am I here?
Well, I'm sure I will, bro. I'm sure I will. Like, these are the ones that, like, they're going to be good. And I'll let you talk. You're the expert guest here.
Sure. I mean, again, Shamil, obviously enough, he's not amazing in the other. He's fine. He does good damage. He doesn't excel in the other one. So he's obviously put in here. But his passive is so strong. Head of Torment is very hard to deal with. Very hard to get perfect veil. And this guy just makes all those true fears not a bad thing. He actually makes them a good thing. He turns them into turn meter boosting for the person in the team leader position, which actually, funny enough, was originally a bug, and then they just changed the wording on the ability. So now it's just what it does.
He's absolutely insane. I think that, like, I'm sure I speak for everybody who owns this champion, but like, you just have a new wave of appreciation in the Queen of Hearts dungeon too, in the event dungeon. Be like, wow, that's easy, But he's so valuable, right? So valuable for the torment.
Okay, can you guess number 2?
Yeah, well, let's go with Ugo.
Yeah.
There we go.
Read my mind.
It's not really scripted.
That Ugo is like one of the epics that I see even on the teams of the week, like usually it's all the mythicals, the unities, the Teoxes, the whatever, but Ugo is there sometimes because that A2 is the whole kit is valuable.
Yeah. The A2 is obviously the really big one with masteries and sniper. It becomes that 100% AoE decreased defense block buffs. I know. I think it's actually quite sad. Poor old Archbishop Pinthroy, the legendary, is very similar to Ugo. But just that affinity just never works out. They never change the Hydra affinities outside of the original 6 rotations.
I know.
Ugo's magic is just really good for nearly all of them.
It's true. Poor Arch. I like that guy too. I like the Pope, man. He's a pretty good cool. Dude, but he's no Ugo though.
No, Ugo's got style too. But yeah, so not only the A2 is amazing. The Leech, again, she's got the high chance of placing Leech when you've got the 4 Hydra heads. I've been trying to use her because we got her. She won her starter champs for the free-to-play challenge. And like that Leech never lands against Demon Lord compared to Hydra. It's a big difference. But then she also has the A3, which is the big heal. Heal reduction removal is actually really useful because if you are on top of your provoke game in Hydra, that Head of Decay is putting heal reduction every single turn can be quite dangerous. So she can strip that off. There's a really big heal. And her passive does fun stuff, but it almost never happens when you need it to. So,
I always say it's like, that's literally like a solar eclipse moment. You're like, Ugo revived! Because it's so hard to pull off, It sounds good, but luckily the rest of her kit is so disgustingly good that it doesn't matter. All right, number 3.
Okay, number 3 is, I think, an amazing alternative to Inquisitor Shamil, and it's been a promo code champion that a lot of players have access to, and I think she's great. It's Rector Drath.
Okay.
And again, I think she's all right for the other 2 clan bosses as well. I mean, she's just really good in general. But I think she particularly excels in Hydra. So much so, I was even running her in like my Brutal team. I think she might even still be on my Brutal team, which is ridiculous. Because she is one of the most consistent perfect veil champs in the game.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-turn cooldown, big heal, perfect veil. And that perfect veil is protecting you from the Head of Torment. It's also giving you damage reduction, which is nice to help you stay alive. And yeah, you get her with like a reflex set, reduce that cooldown, and boom, like you're absolutely flying. You could even do reflex plus impulse if you do some live arena, get even more cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. She's got revive as well.
I love that. I love that call out, man. She's perfect veil is so hard to find in this game. There's still only what, like 8 champions that have it, give or take. And to have it for 2 turns, which is the standard on a 4-turn, that's what Duchess has, you know. To have that in an epic is just it's insane. And she's got it. And she's fast too. Like her base speed is 109. Like great healer. So yeah, totally great call out there.
Yeah, she's cool. One of the fun facts about Duchess.
What?
Not Duchess, about Rector. Is that her A1, you can place decrease attack on weak hits. So it can go through Poison Cloud. There's nothing in the tooltip to suggest that.
Oh.
But it just does. It just works.
I didn't even know that. So yeah, good info there.
So you can build her with accuracy if you want, and she can be on manual, your decrease attack champ. It's dangerous.
Good old Plarium, always letting us guess, man. Always letting us little surprises, right?
Yeah.
All right. Who you have number 4?
Yeah, see, this is where it becomes, well, this one is sort of out of order. He should probably be up higher, I suppose, but it's tricky to know. I think these last 2 picks are more, I think the first 3 are pretty obvious. I decided this was where I was going to put, are you going to guess or no?
Well, I feel like I'm not going to guess right now. I was going to guess Husk.
I didn't go for Husk. It's a great choice. It's a great choice. I went for Geomancer here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was tricky, right? Which clan boss do I put Geomancer against? I decided to put him in for Hydra because I thought there was other good stuff to call out for the others. I think he does some really, really cool things for Hydra. So number 1, because there's 4 heads potentially smacking you, it's lots of opportunities for him to reflect that damage and trigger the max HP hits. I think his A1 is great because it's an AoE. An AoE decrease accuracy. That opens up some kind of cool stuff. Like you can do Rector Drath, her passive increases your resistance. Geomancer decrease accuracy. Suddenly you can start resisting like the poisons and provokes and stuff, which is quite fun. And then he's got the backup buff steal. If her nasty reflect damage goes out, you're like, my damage dealer's gonna die. Geomancer can save it. Again,
save the run. Yeah.
Fun thing about him too is his A3. Normally, like single target stuff can't target Mischief unless Mischief is a hex debuff. You can just put that burn right on. Doesn't matter. Which can make it very, very easy for people to, and it goes through Poison Cloud, of course, as well. It's not an attack. So yeah, that can make it really easy to deal with that. And he makes you tanky too. It's great.
And the 3-turn duration of the burn on a 3-turn cooldown with the reflex set or whatever, depending on how you want to build them, like it allows you to get multiple burns really easily out there. Cool. Okay. The last one, I will guess it's going to be a Boro or Whisper.
Ooh.
Or are you gonna save her for? Are you gonna say? I'm gonna.
Those are they're good picks.
Okay, thank you.
They're good picks. I didn't, but they're very good picks.
I'll go with Boro. Who has it?
Okay, so I actually went for Royal Guard.
Okay, man, I was all over. I was close, but no
so
cigar.
Close. Yeah. I could have gone for Husk either. I did think about a Boro as well. Whisper, stay tuned for the Chimera.
Yeah, how can you not, I guess, now, But you went Royal Guard, the OG enemy max HP, along with, like, Knight Errant in the game, or not Knight Errant, Septimus, my bad.
Yeah. So I think you said it's the enemy max HP, easy access, just a big AoE slam. Obviously, I think the other champions that we listed really do continue much further into the game, but I think for getting into Chimera, mixing up all the clans, there's too
Hydra,
many. Getting into Hydra initially, having that big AoE enemy max HP hit is like the easy way in to start doing damage. And then his utility is great as well. He's got the decreased defense A1. It's actually a good chance to land it. That's really nice. And then the 4-hitter that can be spreading decreased speed. I think that's really useful. It's quite difficult, especially when you're using only epics, to get decreased speed. It's one of the tough debuffs to get, especially AoE. Now, he's obviously not perfect, but it's that lovely supplementary coverage. Again, easy to land it on Mischief, who's the fastest head, the most annoying. So landing that can be really helpful. So
Yeah.
I'll put him there.
I like that. I've always been a Royal Guard over Husk Guy personally on my account. Like when given the choice between the two, obviously there's a lot that comes into play there, affinities and whatnot. But I love the decreased speed call out. You pick up Master Hexer and Sniper on this guy too. You're really going to be, getting some nice durations on the decreased speed, and it's 4 times. Each hit has the 75% when booked, so it's not bad, and it's hard to find, to your point, everything that you need on every team. So I like that call out.
Cool.
All right.
Did you have any other honorable mentions? Skaramis is sort of worth shouting out. I like
good old Skaramis, man. He's the best.
He's like budget
best.
Chris. He's great.
Yeah, Skaramis is really good. I like that call out. There's so many good ones, right? Honestly. I like, let's see, who's one of my, obviously, Doom Priest, good old heals and cleanses can if you don't have Tawana Rock or Inquisitors, especially not on every team, she can be great. Who else are some of my faves? Who's what? Ursula the Mourner. Like if you're just looking for if it deserves a call out, a good increase attack with all that amazing revive. It's like a really solid support there. Who else?
They're good ones. They're good.
Yeah. Who else for Hydra? Who's like a?
It's tough, to narrow it down to 5. But that
I know. I feel like I'm afraid we're like snubbing one of the best in the game.
Yeah, invariably by picking only 5, you have to. So it's half the fun.
I feel like my man Tagore, you can use him anywhere. Indeed, and I agree with all your picks as well. So yeah, let's move on to Chimera, man.
Okay. Chimera. So this is the one I'm certainly be least confident about because it's the newest sort of content. There's definitely a few.
Ooh, White Dryad Naya, maybe as a call out, as a little niche, a cheeky call out in Hydra.
What was the name?
White Dryad Naya.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, that's a really good call out. Yeah, she can do some really funky stuff. She's just generally good, and then some funky team.
Yeah, sorry, I need to fast forward. We're talking Chimera, Ash. Come on, bro.
Still in Hydra mode.
All right.
Okay, so the first one I've been planning to do a video on him in Chimera. I still haven't got around to it yet.
Okay.
And that's Farrakhan the Fat.
Fat Man.
Yeah.
Could never go wrong with Fat Man, bro.
Exactly. I mean, he's obviously amazing as well in Hydra and amazing in Demon Lord. I just think, for Chimera, you're getting big single target damage out of the ally attack, which is great. But in Chimera specifically, you're looking at trials, and this guy covers so many.
Yeah.
So there's some trials where you need ally attack damage to do it. He brings that. There's some trials you need increased crit rate or crit damage. He's got that. Some trials need a burn. Some trials need poison. Has both of those. And then he brings a decreased defense as well. I'm like, that is a lot of stuff covered for an epic.
He's a great call out. Yeah. That's a great call out. You're right. He's a trial beast, and you just can't go wrong with that damage on that ally attack.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right.
Next up, then, this is very much an OG epic. I was unpopular for saying I liked what was his name, Skeletor for Chimera, though I did.
Okay.
I think this.
I've taken some heat by being a recent Skeletor convert myself, by the way.
This champion is like a much more accessible sort of champ that does a similar job, and that's actually Stag Knight. I think he's really good.
He's amazing
for Chimera.
Yeah.
So he has the AoE, decreased defense, decreased attack. Obviously, you don't need the AoE for Chimera, but those are two really important debuffs when you're progressing on the boss to not die and to do damage. And then he also brings decreased speed, which again is really useful. It's super important to have that debuff, and it's a difficult debuff to get. Chimera also, although as they say, they think Hydra is the more end game thing, the accuracy requirements for Chimera actually end up being higher. I think they go up to 500 maybe.
Okay.
That increased accuracy passive is nice, and he's got crazy base stats as well. I tried him out when I was doing an epic only team for Chimera, and I was like, man, I was really impressed by how useful Stag Knight was, and just the damage that sort of slowly added up from him attacking every single turn as well.
Yep.
It's really, really good.
I'm with you on Stag Knight, man. He's a beast. I'm glad that you shot out the lead the pack. That's a really nasty low-key passive there. Like epics usually don't get great passives. A few exceptions, the Vogoths of the world, but for no cooldown, just anytime you get a debuff resisted, I feel like we don't tend to notice resist that often. Oftentimes it's just kind of like unless you're manually like you might be getting resisted 20% of the time, you just don't notice, you know? So like, I feel like oftentimes when I have Stag Knight on my team, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of increased accuracies there. Like I wouldn't have ever thought that I had that many resists. It's really nice to have, you know, it is only one turn, but it's nice to have. So I like it. And those base stats, man, are insane on him. Like, it's like really cool. All right. So good. That's number 2. Who you have 3?
Number 3, the Church of Whisper. Bring her in.
Okay. All right. She is insane, dude.
Yeah. I mean, if you want single target damage.
Insane.
There you go. Yeah. Just huge damage, the extra turn, self buffs increase attack as well, which can be a difficult buff to squeeze in to your team. Brings a weaken potentially if you need it. And if you've got the accuracy. Yeah, she's a boss killer, plain and simple. She can out damage a lot of legendaries in this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I mean, she, you know, the out damaging legendaries out of an epic or epics out of a rare, like obviously it's a bit of like YouTube sensationalism at times, but not with Whisper, man. Like she really does, you know, out damage almost everybody in the game, and that's insane from an epic champion. So great job saving her until the Chimera list.
Yes, yeah, it is tricky, you know, deciding where to put people,
right?
And this next one, I actually saw some people doing, I don't know if you did, I don't remember who it was, but someone did a video of this champion with like Mad Hatter and doing really big damage because he's got one of the best A1s in the game, in fact, which is Phoenix.
Bro, you chose yourself.
Yeah.
You chose yourself.
I shaved recently, so not...
I know. In the very beginning of the video, you didn't see my screen, but I had you side by side, you know. But,
okay. Nice. Yes, I've chosen myself. Zero bias. But no, I think Phoenix is really solid. So obviously that A1 absolutely claps. Massive single target damage.
Yep.
And yeah, again, you got any ally attackers in there like Farrakhan or like the Mad Hatter, the damage is going to be huge. On top of that, he has some kind of nice utility that's not reliable, but it's decent for Chimera. The block buffs can be okay, right, for that ultimate form to stop the increased speed.
Yeah.
And then he's got the decreased defense, decreased speed. Again, you don't want to rely on it, but if, you know, it's a bit awkward with Chimera. It's switching the affinities a lot every rotation.
Yeah.
You might think, my decreased speed champ is the wrong affinity for the ultimate form now.
Yeah.
At least you've got this guy as a backup.
I do find that you can get around, though. Like, obviously, it depends on your team, but it is quite easy to get around the long cooldowns because, like, obviously, the knock on Phoenix is that, like, it's a 6-turn, book down to 4. You really want that to be a 3-turn, but against Chimera, like, you know, 1 debuff extender, you can easily get those debuffs. Like, with a decent amount of speed, you can keep those up, you know, until the changeover. So, I agree, man. I really love this dude.
Cool. All right. I know you like my final pick as well. I'll give you a guess. It's a champion you love that's maybe a little underrated.
Okay. There's so many that I love. I mean, Tagore, I feel like you haven't mentioned my guy. He's my number 1 guy. But
that's the one.
Okay, all right. I'm the Tagore fan club president and secretary and treasurer all in one. Okay. Talk about Tagore.
Cool. I again, he was one I busted out for the epic only Chimera team test I did, and I was super impressed with him. Right, he's pumping out a crazy amount of healing. The healing is so much better than it sounds. Right, I don't know if you found that as well.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's his HP, and it's. Yeah, I mean, he's solid, man.
Yeah, and then the increased speed, right? Again, I mentioned you really want decreased speed for Chimera. You also really want increased speed. It's, you know, especially with Hydra, so it's more of an end game problem. But with Hydra, you absolutely can hit the turn limit, and it's like, well, that extra speed, the extra turn meter didn't help me at all. With Chimera, it still has a turn limit, but it's much harder to hit it. Yeah, four heads taking lots of turns. Yeah. So yeah, it's like. Speed for days, let's go. One thing I really like, actually, for a couple of the forms are really single target focused, and he can be putting out that increased defense buff on your ally at the lowest HP, help them survive. His passive is really cool too. Yep. Like, you know, the Ram form tries to one-shot someone when it switches. Yeah. Sometimes that passive, it's a small bit of damage reduction. That can be enough to interrupt that Ram form combo and keep your champ alive, which is cool. And then, of course, you've got an AoE revive, which is great. It's easy for ram form or viper form to go wrong and have a few people die, and he can revive all of them, and he keeps them very safe with that shield and the short cooldown on the A2 for the massive heal picking back up. Yeah, he's like MVP of my free-to-play right now. I'm in love with Tagore. He's so
I
good.
love that, man. I love hearing that. I agree. I mean, he just brings so much for an epic. So much for an epic. You don't see these damage mitigators, at least not good ones from epics. He's got that and the passive. I mean, you can use the revive just for the shield if you need it. You know, you don't have to revive off that ability too. He's so solid, man. He's got the HP in all battles aura in case you're looking for an aura. So I cannot argue that one. I'll give a little honorable here. This guy, I just did a video on him, and it was the first time I actually properly used this. Like I built him a long time ago. I never really used him, and that's Anax. You ever used Anax or Anax or however you say his name?
No, I never did. I was always, because he's very difficult to speed chain for Demon Lord in particular, right? Because of does his passive give him extra turns or something? So it's like
he has an extra turn whenever his HP is dropped below 10%. So yes,
so it's like he works perfectly with block damage teams like Demitha, but it's very difficult to make him work with Unkillable. Because if he heals up at all, he can start taking extra turns and outrun Unkillable. It gets a bit messy.
Yes,
but he's a beast for damage, though, right?
Yeah, he's kind of like a little bit of what you're talking. Well, he's not Fat Man, but he's got the decreased defense, the decreased accuracy, 2 poisons on his A2, and the big version of Weaken, and a self heal there. So like he's just bringing basically all your essential not all, but a lot of your essential debuffs and 2 more niche ones than the decreased accuracy and poisons. So he can do a lot of damage and be like your main debuffer on the team, so help you out in trials too. So I really like him. I maybe the same thing could be said maybe about Fane, right? Or let me see. I haven't tried her, but what is she? She has a poison, 2 poisons, a decreased attack, and the decreased defense and the weaken. Yeah. She's super squishy as well. But,
she is very strong. Yeah, she's
good
real
old
good.
700 defense there. Anybody else? I feel like Frenzy is pretty good in Frenzy the Cackler in Hydra.
He have his own list.
You know, with for provoke and some burn, some damage there as well. I'm trying to think of any of my faves, you know?
Yeah, I give a shout out to Scathix as well for Chimera. He's really cool. The decreased speed A1, the cleanse, which is so helpful for different forms. And then the passive, again, is another way to deal with the ram form. Tries to one-shot him, dude's like, block damage, and then I'm just going to spam A1 decreased speed. Let's go. You can steal increased speed from ultimate form as well, which is pretty nifty.
He's quite a beast, and I now we're going down that line. I'll give a shout out to Runekeeper Dazdirk. He's a pretty good. He's got a juicy 25% turn meter fill with the increased attack and the cleanse and the heal and the leech. So he brings a lot to the table. Nice base stats too. All right, well, there it goes, man. We've completed our top 5 plus and then some for every one of the clan bosses out there. What about you guys? Which epics on our list do you use, and which epics did we not mention who you want to give some love to in the comments below? The fun doesn't have to stop there, guys. You can join our conversation talking about unique builds on Nub Raids YouTube channel. I have that linked in the pinned comment and the description below. Nubs, thanks again for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's a pleasure as always. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for staying till the end of the video. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.